welcome to Bitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Trevor Scott, and with me as always is Ben Slinger.
Yes I am, hello.
Hello.
Trevor, what are we doing this week?
So, with our random word generator still down after 2 and a bit weeks, let's go back into what3words.com.
How dare this unpaid service that has existed on the internet for God knows how long just disappear on us like that? No, as Trevor said, we're going to use what3words.com, which, if you weren't listening last week, is a site that has split the planet up into 3 meter squares. Squares. And assigned 3 words to each of those 3 meter squares. The idea being that you can call emergency services or something and easily tell them where you are without having to give an address or latitude and longitude. But for us, it means we can have an potentially endless source of random word prompts for our video games.
Mm-hmm.
So, Trevor, where are we getting words from this week?
This week, we are getting words from random places around the world. I've chosen Iceland, and you have chosen...
I have chosen the site of our old high school.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Senior campus or junior campus?
No, junior campus. Yeah, the one it's gone. It's
gone.
They destroyed it.
Okay.
But fond memories. So,
what 3 prompts, Ben?
Yeah. My 3 prompts are comets, sprints, nibbling.
Okay, so first thing that comes to mind is a sentient comet going through space, sprinting, nibbling, doing all those sort of things.
Okay. I like this. I like, obviously, the space angle. Comet makes sense there. I was sort of thinking that comet could be like the name of a pet or something, but maybe you have a pet comet. Maybe this is like huge godlike beings with... Yeah,
well, the second that you said comet as a pet, my mind just immediately went to Full House. I'm like, okay, so...
Did they have a pet?
A pet dog called Comet.
Okay. There's also one of Santa's reindeer, right? Comet?
Yeah. Okay. What if we took this as, like, in the world, like, Halley's Comet actually goes a lot closer to Earth.
Okay.
So it sort of flies across, when it flies across the sky every 70-something years.
Yeah.
Like,
it takes a little nibble of the atmosphere.
Strips a little bit. Either that, or it's basically like every 70 years, people believe that, God has returned, sort of thing, and he exists as a sort of fiery thing in the sky.
Okay, so this is Halley's comets sprint across the sky every 70 years or whatever. Okay, and so we're sort of saying that this is a world where they are worshipping this comet. It's completely based around every 70 years, the coming of the smear through the sky, the light, the day star, no, the night sun, I don't know.
I do kind of like the day star.
But isn't that just the sun?
Yeah. But there's just something about it that actually sounds better than
day star
the night
2.
sun. Day streak.
The day streak. That's a good setting.
Yeah.
What's the game? Do we play a character perhaps who is this someone who has never seen, like, because they could be, we could look it up, but let's say it is every 70 years. This could be a 50-year-old who's never seen it, right?
Yeah.
Or a 70-year-old, but like it could be them sort of exploring this world with all these people who are who are talking about it and worshipping it, and this is them questioning it essentially. Like, well,
the elders have said that when I was a kid, or whatever it was, when I was 20 years old, I saw the god streak across the sky.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's God streaking. It's actually just his dick swarming across the sky.
God. It burns your retina. That's why there's a streak across the sky.
You can't stare directly at God's dick. Everyone knows that.
Avert your eyes from God's dick.
He's doing his every 70-year nudie run.
Oh, God.
But this person, this guy, let's just call him
Daly.
Dan
Daly.
Dan Daly. This is like some sort of strange tribe. This is like thousands of years in the future.
Yeah.
And everything's weird and different. Dan Daly, he does not believe that this is a thing. He's like, well, I'm not even sure I believe that God has a penis. What if God is a woman?
What if God doesn't exist and it's just a construct of...
Well, no, don't be stupid, Trevor. Of course God exists. Like, we all know that. But why would they streak across the sky and get their junk out?
Every 75 to 76 years.
Yeah. Trevor, look it up. So is this person then, are they seeking... Is this like a spiritual journey for this person? Like they've been brought up in this world where, you know, everyone's been telling them, like, when you are around 63 years old, you will get to see. If you live to 63, you will see the day streak. You will see the God streak. And
do we want to make him a little bit younger then? As in...
Well, it just depends on how... Yeah, it could be. Like, maybe he's in his...
Like, they could be in their 30s and it's happening in the next 20 days or something like that.
Oh, I mean, I guess I'm just thinking of, like, some people will wait their entire lives to see this, right?
Yeah.
So I don't even know if they... Like, I don't even know if we show it in the... Like, I think it's still decades away when they're searching for it. It's just more them... You know, they've gotten to a point in their life. Essentially, they're having a midlife crisis. And part of that is questioning, essentially, their religion. But it's this, they call it the God's peen.
And it gets larger every time it comes by.
It's larger every time. He's a grower, not a shower. Or she.
I'm going to click my own.
I think let's move on from the God's Peen universe.
I don't know where your mind is tonight. Like, it's...
Look.
We've just finished our improv.
We just had our improv class. We're all punchy and worked up. So, you know, God's Peen will return. We'll come back to that world, I'm sure. But let's move on for now.
What we have is Peered Kicks Slyness.
Peered as in double E or I-E?
Double E.
Peered Kicks Slyness. Okay. Is this like either... So my mind went to... I was thinking around kicks. It's either like a sports drama sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking slyness and your peers. Or like... So, like, maybe soccer or football or a, like, martial art sort of setting with kicks and stuff too.
Okay. I mean, I saw slyness and my mind couldn't get away from Sly Fox or whatever that thing
Sly
was.
Cooper?
Yeah, Sly Cooper.
Okay. Is this is taking the Sly Cooper away from the stealth action game into a very sort of Nintendo-ish sports game, right? Like, take those characters, bring them into a sports game. But then when we figure out how they utilize their different skills.
So what type of sports game are we doing? Olympic Games, or are we doing kind of like what they do a lot of, or are we taking this like to the X Games? So you've got a lot of extreme sports. Well,
it's got to have kicks in it, right?
I mean, skateboarding has kick flips.
Yeah, we could. That's fine. Good. There you go. You made the link. Perfect. I would love to see
skateboarding.
A Tony Hawk / Sly Cooper mashup. Because he's got that hook, right?
I was going to say, did you want to see a skateboarding fighting game? So you're sort of fighting each other with skateboards.
Are we still doing Sly Cooper?
Oh, we can add that in. Yep. He's a DLC. I know, there's just so many different ways that we could take this.
Is this a sequel to that, the PlayStation Battle Royale, like All-Stars game that was just like random weird characters from PlayStation's library fighting each other that went nowhere?
No story mode. It's just, oh, look, and here comes Solid Snake. And here comes characters from Tekken or something like that.
Yeah. No, it was Kratos, Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, Sackboy,
a car from Gran Turismo,
Spike from Ape Escape. That would have been good. A Big Daddy from Bioshock. It was just like random shit. That's bizarre. Okay, no. What I was thinking, I like the skateboarding aspect, and I like the Sly Cooper side of that because he's got the big hook. So, because I'm thinking you're grinding from the top and the bottom there. Like, you could be grinding on a skateboard and then, like, jump and then hook your hook over a pipe that's above, and you're, like, sliding, sort of grinding down that way, too. So you're sort of adding this extra move set.
But you got to be very careful because you can very easily lose the skateboard because it's not, like... Or is it? Is it snowboard-esque attached to your feet? So at all times, like, when you do a kickflip somewhat, you're actually, sort of taking your feet up and you've always got them connected to the skateboard.
Yeah, well, I think, who is it? The turtle, who does gadgets and stuff. Bentley. I think that maybe you even get upgrades as you go. Like, this is perhaps more of even like a Metroidvania-ish skateboard Sly Cooper game, because why not?
And every now and again, you just got to collect the letters SKATE, and then like collect the secret tape and
well, we add those in
floating dollar bills, and
little Easter eggs. I mean, he is sly. He's a thief. So yeah, definitely collecting dollar bills makes sense, and random VHS tapes because they could be valuable.
Yeah,
depends what's on the tape. It could be a long lost pilot of Starship Dingo. That classic Australian sci-fi show
that everyone knows about. Yep.
Yeah, anybody in Australia does.
So anyway, I like the idea that as you're going through the levels, there's all these like hidden objectives that if you find, wall ride in this particular location, and it ticks it off. And it's sort of like that sort of Tony Hawk's-esque idea that you got to mark off as many things as you can throughout the level.
In a time limit?
Not necessarily in a time limit, just as you're playing through the level, you must mark off at least, 20% of the goals or whatever it is.
Well, now what that's made me think of, maybe instead of a Metroidvania, this is a Sly Cooper skateboarding RPG, and that's your side quests, right? Because I'm thinking sort of ticking off side quests, and maybe a side quest is literally just like grind on 30 rails in this area. But then you get a little story bit at the end. It's like your biggest fan, this little tiny raccoon who's like, yeah, Sly Cooper, you did it. You're the skateboarding champion of the world. He's like, I did it all for you, kid.
Thanks.
And then
what's your name? Terrence. Okay. Thanks, Terrence.
Yep,
sure.
I'll sign your mask. I was going to go with shell, but they said it was a raccoon, not a turtle. No, I could go a Sly Cooper skateboarding RPG, because then you do have Bentley like doing your level ups and stuff, and for I think you're leveling up your gadgets and your skateboard and stuff more than you're leveling up yourself.
Yeah. Basically, throughout the whole thing, you're not you've got the same health pool, but you So you're never actually leveling yourself up, but it's just the gadgets determine whether you can, grind for, 20 minutes compared to the 20 seconds that you start off with.
Yeah, totally. It's whether you can infinitely manual to keep a combo going.
Oh, how cool would that be? Like, you're going through a level and you're doing all this combat, like, shooting and all this sort of stuff, and you've got to keep the combo going.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool. Skateboarding off people's heads, bouncing from one to the next into a grind, into a hook slide, into a, smash through a window, steal a gem.
And then, if you land that combo at the end, the score obviously goes through the roof because you've knocked out 3 people while, grinding some.
Doing a Christ air.
Well, no, the skateboard's attached to your feet, so it's really hard to actually do that Christ air. But you can do lots of jumps and flips and shit.
This is the thing. It can't be attached to your feet because then how are you going to do kickflips and stuff? Maybe it's you've just got like magnetic boots.
Oh, that you can flick off and...
You can flick off and on as part of the trick. I don't think you'd actually make it like a manual thing.
No.
That the player has to do because that'd get pretty nuts. Although you could have it as an attack where you kick your board out and then you hold the button to pull it back.
Oh, that'd be freaking amazing.
Yeah.
You do a roundhouse kick and your skateboard sort of goes boomeranging off, and then you hold down a button, it comes back, and you jump back on and continue the combo.
You do a backflip, it attaches to your feet in midair, and then you land it. Mm-hmm. That's fucking cool.
Why hasn't someone made this already? Go make it.
I mean, it's obvious that you need to make a skateboarding Sly Cooper RPG. How is this not on the tip of everyone's tongue that this is the next major AAA game to be made?
Oh, God. Could you imagine, what ray tracing would bring to this? Or even a beautiful cartoon shader or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Really tune it up and...
I'd like to see a really high def PS5 toon shader, a really nicely done toon shader in that sort of resolution, because I feel like it works 8K. Really well. It works really well in lower poly as well, because it kind of gives it that cartoony look. But if you can really make it look like kind of hand
we're talking
now.
Millions of vertices.
Definitely.
Okay, right. Ben.
Yeah.
What 3 prompts?
So from what I seem to recall is probably the canteen that I used to buy too many banana lollies from. It is Quota's Combustion Handlebars.
Say that again.
Quota's?
Yep.
Combustion.
Ooh, yep.
Handlebars.
Okay, so handlebars and... it sort of brings me to a motorbikey sort of thing.
Do you know where I went with handlebars? What? I took it in two different directions. Yes, but not just mustaches, but then you have a handlebar mustache, but you're on a penny farthing. Because for the style, the handlebar mustache and the handlebars on the thing.
Nice, I love it.
A rocket-powered penny farthing.
So is this guy sort of the guy that I'm picturing is this classy British gentleman with a handlebar mustache and monocle, and he's just holding on for dear life. Penny farthing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It won't stop.
It's an endless runner.
Yes.
And you just have to not
You're dodging shit.
I like this as an endless runner, but not in the traditional just moving in one direction, occasionally turning sense. This is an endless runner
in a 3D world.
Yes, in a 3D world where you are just dodging stuff.
It's effectively what you do in Grand Theft Auto, where you're bored, so you just jump and you just keep on going. Yeah. The difference is that if you start to stop, then it becomes very wobbly. and you fall off, and that's the end of your run, sort of thing. You break, the whole idea is to keep the speed going. You don't know how to get down off the penny farthing.
That's it. You don't know how to get down. You need help, and no one's around. So you're just going to fall and hurt yourself if it stops. If this is rocket powered, though, why, is it that it runs out of fuel? Are you having to keep getting fuel so that you don't fall because you know you're going to hurt yourself? But you also don't, you just have to keep going.
Yeah, there's got to be a reason why you can't stop.
Yeah.
So think of that, and once you think of that, come back to me.
We'll put a pin in it, and at the end of the episode, no, it could just be an endless, it could just be this rocket, it could just be an engine on it that's powering it forward without explanation. Yeah,
I'm picturing that you really don't want to head into the city too much, because if you head into the city, then you got to deal with stoplights and all that sort of stuff. And when you're in a rocket powered ship going across busy streets.
That is tricky.
You could get knocked off quite easily. So
I guess when is this set? Is this current day and this person's just like a hipster? Or is this set sort of a couple 100 years ago? And so the cars
it's set current day.
Okay, because I was thinking that you could make the cars wouldn't be as fast, and you might have some cars, some horse and carriages on the roads.
When you start off the game, when you start off the game, you start in that time period, but you've just been riding for so long that eventually, technology catches up.
I mean, that could be the levels, I guess. You're just riding forever, and it literally goes decades into the future every time, and the environments change.
Oh, and you got a little hungry meter, and you got to, go through, the drive-through. Because you can't slow down.
Yeah. We do need a goal, I feel like. Or is this something is this kind of like Goat Simulator or something where it's just a sandbox and you can just do funny shit as you drive past things?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's, it's all about points because, Goat Simulator was pretty much like a Tony Hawk's clone for goats.
For goats.
But, I think a penny farthing, Tony Hawk's / Endless Runner, that, you slow down, you fall off. But the idea is keep that combo going.
Anthony Hawk's Penny Farthing Underground.
Anthony Hawk's Pro Farthing.
Pro Farthing. Is our challenge tonight now to make every game a Tony Hawk inspired game? No, but I do kind of like that idea of just the random stuff and sort of like Goat Simulator. There's just different little Easter eggs and different things around the world. So there is a drive-through that you can go through and but to actually get fed, you have to go through it twice because the first time or 3 times because you have to yell your order out as you go past, and then pay your money the next time, and then get your food.
And then collect your food. Yeah,
yeah. That sort of thing. Just you can put your legs out, put your arms out at any point to grab onto things and pivot around them. Could be fun. Around the lamppost.
Wobble, wobble,
or
wobble.
Someone's head.
Okay, so Anthony Hawk. He's one of your characters. What are some of the other characters that can be potentially riding this rocket powered penny farthing? It doesn't have to be pro skate. It's just come up with some funny names.
I was trying to think of people who ride BMX bikes, and the only one I could think of is the guy in the UK named Ben Slinger, who shows up in Google searches when you search Ben Slinger. So there you go. That's one.
Matt Hoffman.
That's the one. He's the one who had the actual BMX game, right?
Yes, anyway, Matt Hoffman's BMX or whatever.
Matthew Hoffingman. They ought to be the fancy names. And then you've got
so is it Anthony Hawkington then? Anthony Hawkington's Pro Farthing.
Yes. Anthony Hawksworth. Esquire.
Oh god! Now
and then you've got Shrek, like as an unlockable character.
Oh yeah, Shrek, Doctor Strange,
Darth Maul.
Yeah,
Darthington
throw them all
Maul.
in there. Darthington Maul.
Darthington Maul the second of the Chesterton Moles.
And then, I don't know, for some reason, Blackout is in there. Okay, my 3 words for this next game. Chandelier, shaded, mewing. MEWING. Like, meow.
Okay. Meow, meow. Shaded chandelier.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, presumably something with a cat.
Yes. Now, it's whether your character is going around, like, installing chandeliers, with his pet cat.
Oh, that could be a nice story. Chandelier installation person and their pet cat who likes to jump on chandeliers and to destroy them.
Chandelier cat. I'm just singing Postman Pat, but with chandeliers.
Right, okay. I didn't quite get that. And shading, is that just around, like, the art style, perhaps?
No, let's just take it, instead of shaded, it's shady. So they're installing shady chandeliers that,
shady chandeliers. They're not up to scratch. Scratch, because of the cat.
Yeah, of course. Does he send in the cat? So the first part of the level is you playing the cat that has to try and get in and knock down the good chandelier.
Oh, yeah.
And then you come in and go, oh, the chandelier bandits have been back again. I just so happen to have, like, this exact model of chandelier in my truck. Would you like me to install it for you? And then you've got, like, the installation side of things.
Games. Yeah. Okay.
You can either do it that way, or it can just be a heartwarming story of this guy who's going around and just shadily breaking into people's houses, installing chandeliers, and so that when they wake up, they go, where'd this chandelier come from?
Just like a chandelier elf.
And then he knocks on their door and go, do you have any chandeliers that you need cleaning?
Installs expensive chandeliers so that he can make, like, a few bucks cleaning them.
And they're dirty.
Well, he has to install them dirty. Yeah. But also they're still very valuable chandeliers, so he still hasn't quite got the economics of it worked out. All right, no, let's pivot slightly, because I feel like we can do something else with this.
Uh-huh.
Is Chandelier more about just the setting where it's in some sort of fancy place that has, like, a ballroom with a giant chandelier or whatever, right?
Okay, yep.
Someone who works there, perhaps, and then they have the cat.
Yep.
So it's not directly related to the chandelier, or like they're trying to steal something from this place, perhaps.
Ooh, I kind of like the idea of them being like a Mr. Filch sort of character from the series that shall not be named, with the Mrs. Norris.
Yep.
Yeah, we all know the thing. We don't like the
Yeah, we don't talk about Volder Turf.
Yep.
Turf at Mort? I don't know.
But
continue.
Either way, just the idea of this crotchety old guy, and you're sort of you're playing him. He hates everyone but loves his cat.
Okay, and cleans this place.
And cleans this place. You know, he's the caretaker. He's
the caretaker. Yeah,
and effectively, you can show, like, whether it's a caretaker at a school or something like that. It doesn't have to be magic. Like, I just like the idea of this crotchety old guy who's, you know, you can sort of go deep into why he's so crotchety.
Maybe like a theatre, because then they might have like a big chandelier.
Yeah.
In this theatre.
Okay, so the theatre is putting on a performance of Phantom of the Opera.
Okay.
Because if you've never seen it, like,
it's not Cats?
No, it's got to be Phantom of the Opera, because in the intermission, there's a massive chandelier that comes down and swings across the audience and stuff. So that's where that comes from. But then, you know, I'm just imagining you have to keep it clean. You have to take care of this thing. And there's people out there who just don't take care of this,
of this theater, of all the props of the chandelier. You're having to sort of have conversations with your cat, and people are. Yeah. Is this maybe like one of these games where you sort of get a lot of vignettes and it's sort of across this guy's life? And so one of them is, yes, like they're putting on Phantom of the Opera, but it's, lots of different shows, different actors coming through, different directors, the place gets refurbished. This guy's like the constant at this theater.
Yep.
And it's sort of his story and how he relates to this place. And his relationship with this building, essentially.
Oh, and after a while, midway through the game, you can sort of show, him in his prime, where, he's lovable and loves all these people, and, you can sort of show that it's actually either these actors or these prop handlers that have basically ruined his whole look on life, because
or he just. Yeah, we should figure out, like, why is he so jaded then later on? Why has he become crotchety? Because I kind of like this then of, it's his life story, essentially, with the theatre as the backdrop. The theatre is a character in itself.
I kind of like the idea that the reason why he's so crotchety is because basically there was the cat was actually being mistreated by all these people, and he sort of saved the cat, and they kept on trying to steal this cat.
Okay.
Because then you can sort of show him and the cat sort of bonding at an early age.
I mean, it just depends on how much of his life we want to go through, because cats only live to like 20-something max.
Like,
so we'd have to...
Probably 16 or so.
I mean, you can have 20-year-old cats, but yeah, like... It would depend on what phase of his life we'd want to go through then. Because I was almost thinking you could go all the way back to, like, he's a teenager and he gets this job, for the first time, taking over from the old caretaker or something, or working under the old caretaker. And I guess we do need to figure out where the cat comes in, but is it more just one aspect of the story? Maybe there is an inciting incident sort of thing with a cat at his young age, and then then later on there's another cat that he gets that becomes his companion from
he saved a cat from
or something.
He saved a cat from Harold and Schrodinger. I don't know what Schrodinger's real name was. I'm like, Harold and Schrodinger.
Referencing
Schrodinger's cat.
Oh, I thought you were referencing like some fucking theater thing or something.
No, I'm like, he was going to open this little radiation vial and
No, but I think like exploring his relationships and stuff then too. Like maybe there's a love interest and like something tragic happens and that leads into. Him getting the cat or something as a not a replacement. But
my love just died. Oh, I've just met this cat.
Mean like as
I'm
a way
in love.
Of dealing with the tragedy, and then the latter sort of aspect of the game is, and maybe then you do like in some levels get to play the cat, and it is more just these little exploratory scenes of perform some jobs, talk to some people, maybe
chase a mouse.
Well, when you're the cat, chase a mouse. But like, you're walking along the back fence of the thing and you overhear conversations, about the caretaker or something while he's sleeping. I don't know. Like just, it's more about really just like setting the scene and telling the story of this guy.
Yeah, you as the player get more information than what the caretaker actually has as such.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Because you get to play as the cat, and therefore the cat has like a little bit of extra.
I'm almost. So this is I'm almost picturing, not from a visual style, but just sort of from the way it jumps around, like a Kentucky Route Zero sort of thing, where you're just getting all these little sections of this life, and you can come up with new mechanics that, like, literally maybe one of the sections is two actors on the stage and you are choosing their lines or sort of thing, or you are, and you can sort of, you see the caretaker behind the scenes watching this or something, or, just like that sort of thing. Different ways to explore this space.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea that as they're talking, you see something up on the wall or something like that says pull this one when they get to this line, and pull this one when they get to this line. It changes the scenery in the background.
Yeah, and that can go a few different ways. If you mess it up, then and that doesn't necessarily have to carry through. It's more just like, here's this little section of this guy's life, and it tells you a little bit about him and what he's gone through.
Yeah,
that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, we're kind of playing fast and loose with these games tonight. It's good.
Yeah. And then, but then of course he gets a skateboard and grinds down the theatre rails and onto the stage.
The cat has to at one stage.
Yeah, it's the cat. Yeah, the cat's grinding around, and he notices up in the corner there's a VHS tape for some reason. Yeah.
I'm so imagining that. You're doing combos the whole time. So basically, as you're going through a scene, if you do the right amount of dialogue, the combo meter's just going up.
I would love to see a completely serious narrative game that's got a combo meter for no reason. And it's not even clear what stops a combo or keeps it going. It's just
we know that if you repeat a conversation while you're there, or if you don't go on to the next logical talking point and you sort of break the line of conversation, then the combo dies.
Oh boy. All right.
Look, I picked up this inventory item. I talked to this person, and I used this inventory item over here, and the combo.
I took too long. I tried that inventory item on too many different things. That it said, I don't know what to do with that, too many times, and break the combo.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, moving on.
Good work.
I'm going to grab bywords from the old oval of our high school.
I'm just literally going all over Iceland.
So my words are wiggle, curious, mercy.
Curiosity killed the cat.
But unless it was given mercy.
Yes.
By a wiggle.
The purple wiggle.
The purple wiggle is definitely the darker of the four wiggles. And not just in hue and saturation.
There's a reason why they're always sleeping. A curse was placed on them.
There's also a reason, maybe we discover the reason why they've switched out a couple of the wiggles, because of this curse.
It's actually because the purple wiggle itself is actually possessed by, the skivvy itself is actually possessed, and that's what the other wiggles are there for, and they've just
the other wiggles are there to contain the power within the purple skivvy.
Yes.
And they failed with Jeff, and that's why he's not around
the only thing
anymore.
they could do was literally, curse Jeff and now Lockie to fall asleep all the time, because that's how you contain the beast.
Makes it dormant while they're sleeping. But they're always getting him to wake up. What's that about?
Because if they sleep too long, the malevolent force can actually take over completely. So they've got to ride that line.
Right.
Don't get me started on Dorothy the dinosaur either. God.
Yeah, well, we'll get there. There's a reason for all of this. We're uncovering the conspiracy behind the Wiggles.
Yes.
And we can't get too ahead of ourselves.
Of course not.
So, deep in the Australian outback,
known as Sydney.
This was thousands of years ago.
Oh, thousands of years ago.
Where Sydney would be.
Yes.
There was a malevolent force that manifested and lay there dormant for many a millennia.
Well, I'm imagining the first peoples, they contained it within.
They knew, yes. It was only when the colonizers came, refused their advice,
Yeah.
of those Indigenous Australians, and were just arrogant enough to put on a purple skivvy and go out in front
200 years later.
So is there a reason then? What came first? The demon or the Wiggles, like the band?
The demon was there first.
Well, sorry, I guess I mean, like, did they create the band specifically to contain the demon, or did they just, like, start a band and then accidentally realize that they were now in possession or, like, under the thrall of this demon in some way? And then
I can sort of see both. Like, let's play out both scenarios and see which one fits a little bit better. So, okay, first scenario, demon has always existed, and the latest in the line of people latest in the line of people protecting the world from the malevolent force contained within the purple skivvy. They decided, well, we're kind of bored just sitting here looking at a purple skivvy and just making sure it doesn't do anything. Let's just create a band and do something with our time.
Right. Okay. Did it start as a kids band, or was that is that part of what, like, they actually wanted to be?
I think they realized that the imagination of kids could actually contain the force a lot better.
Effect.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Because, the kids yelling out, "Wake up, Jeff," and, he's behind you and all this sort of stuff, it sort of...
It's behind you! Takes on a new meaning when there's a malevolent force.
Oh, especially because the kids actually see, like, the malevolent force.
Oh, that's part of it.
That is Captain Feathersword.
If it starts to escape and get too powerful, that's when the kids go and, it's behind you and point out. It's like, okay, time to go back to sleep, Jeff. Or later, Lockie.
Yeah.
After the tragic demise of Jeff. So, okay, where do we come into this whole sequence of events in the game?
Okay, I think what's just happened is we're at the end of the tour where Jeff has just been taken over by the malevolent force and taken over. So
after they've been spending time trying
he's
to,
pretty much if you think of Ghostbusters, how Sigourney Weaver and Rick Moranis get possessed and turn into the gatekeeper or the keymaster and all that sort of stuff. I'm picturing that, it's just the aftermath of that. Like you see a little bit in the prologue, and it's sort of like it's the end of it. I like
the idea then that you play as both Lockie and Emma, or maybe you can choose. And it's like an adventure story where you're coming to you essentially have to fight off Jeff now, who has now been taken over completely by this demon force.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, it ends with Lockie having to sacrifice himself and put on the skivvy and go, okay, now this burden is mine.
Yeah.
And Emma obviously joins to I think the previous yellow Wiggle,
Sam, who then turned into Greg. It was Greg first, then Sam, then Greg again.
Oh, really?
Yep.
That's confusing. Let's just pretend that didn't happen. Let's just have the yellow Wiggle die off in the process, and Emma takes over.
Don't kill Greg.
Didn't he have? Oh no, that was Anthony. I think that had a heart attack or something.
There's got to be a reason why Anthony is still around.
He's definitely a vampire or something. He's immortal.
He's somewhat
he's a cyborg. Is that what you're he's a? Were you about to say he's a robot?
No, I was going to say he's somewhat like a reverse vampire in the fact that, or a daywalker or something like that, because he's always out with kids and all this sort of stuff. I'm just wondering,
if he's out of the sunlight for too long, he starts to turn to dust.
you go to like Wiggle Mansion or whatever, and like his coffin is just like a UV bed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's how come his teeth are so white.
I don't remember Sam at all. I remember all the other previous ones. I forgot about Murray. Anyway, all right. So now, I'm sorry, we need to go deeper though, because why is Dorothy there? Also,
Wags the dog.
Captain
and Captain
Feathersword is
Feathersword.
very important part of this.
Well,
I'm sure.
you know that Captain Feathersword isn't actually there. He's like
a figment.
He's the figment of everyone's imagination. Like,
oh wait, is this actually canon?
Oh, I think it's like the manifestation,
the much discussed Wiggles canon.
The manifestation of the purple entity is like you always see like this weird pirate with a feather sword.
Oh, I thought you were saying like literally in real life they've established that Captain Feathersword is a figment in some way. Like Snuffleupagus or something.
Ooh.
There's a crossover with the Sesame Street. No, that's too many characters. No, okay. Captain Feathersword, yes, is sort of he's essentially a Tyler Durden kind of character then for whoever is wearing the purple skivvy at that time.
Yeah. Always telling, you know, Lockie now Lockie, but always telling Jeff, you know, don't go to sleep.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's why he's tickling him. That's why he tickles him, to keep him awake.
Yes, fight it. He needs to go to sleep to put it back at bay, but then if he sleeps too long, then it can totally take over.
Yeah, it's a balance. Like, while he's awake, it's sort of it's fighting. He's constantly fighting it while he's awake. So he does have to sleep, otherwise his mind just gets too exhausted and it will take over. Or
is the reason why they're trying to wake him up all the time because if he does fall asleep, then Captain Feathersword, the purple entity, will take over the body completely. So the whole thing is, do not let Jeff... I was kind of thinking Feathersword is like a minion of like a sort of a manifestation of I mean, I guess it's part of it, yeah. I'm backtracking on what we said. The reason why they're always waking up Lockie and always waking up Jeff is because you can't let the purple skivvy guy go to sleep. Okay. If they go to sleep, they can be taken over. They let their guard down and, yeah. And anytime it happens on stage, literally they go, "Oh fuck! Wake up, Lockie!" It was never supposed to be part of the act. It's never part of the act. The kids will play along now because they think it is, and it helps. Like that's why they have to constantly be touring, because it's the only way to like keep the energy up. All right, so you play Lockie. You go into Wiggles Mansion as Lockie and Emma and Simon. I already said that before. Oh, I missed that. I'm just picturing these like giant fucking Wags the dog and Dorothy the dinosaur statues, like holding up the ceiling of this mansion. Yeah. So you go in there and you go to Jeff's room, and it's like, you know how there's no bed. A, there's no bed. B, there's these speakers everywhere, and it's just pumping out music. Like it's like one of those, it's like 24 a torture chamber. It's like it's the opposite of the quietest room in the world. It's the most loudest room in the world, in the fact that like that's how they keep him awake. Yeah. Yeah. They lock him in the room. Okay, but like we said, so you come in as they've failed. They've managed to do it for like fucking 15 years or whatever. Yep. Finally, Jeff has succumbed to the demon force, the ancient demon force. The mansion is half destroyed, and Lockie and Emma are demon hunters. They come in thinking, you know, that the Wiggles themselves are completely 100% evil. They came in to kill the Wiggles. Yes, they came. And then it turns out that, you know, this whole thing, you know, the old guard of Anthony, you know, the reason why he's kind of like the that that character from what's it called, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. You chose poorly and all this sort of stuff. He's like that sort of character. He can't actually, he can't actually interact with anything. All he can do, So anytime that anytime that you see him with a guitar and all that sort of stuff, that's just a figment of your imagination. He doesn't actually interact with anything, but he can be seen. He can sort of talk and all this sort of stuff. But if you actually have a look, like, I swear they've done some really, really good, what's it called? Animation where he goes to eat something and that fruit salad, that was all digital.
It wasn't yummy at all.
No.
It wasn't even existent.
No, it was a
Neither was the mashed potato.
It was a storm of bits. Okay, so Emma and Lockie come in as demon hunters.
No, well, actually, what I was maybe thinking is they're essentially like conspiracy theorists. They've been tracking the Wiggles. They've been noticing all this weird behavior behind them, and they're like,
and all these mysterious deaths that happen in the town
in the towns where they're touring. Yeah, they've got their like big wall of like tracking their tours and the newspaper articles of the people who have mysteriously died nearby, and they're here to put a stop to it.
Yeah.
But they just happen to show up essentially at the time when this demon has finally taken over Jeff, and the rest of the Wiggles kind of explain to them what happened, what's happening, and then it's like they're joining the fight.
Yeah. So is it kind of like an Alone in the Dark, the first one where you're sort of sneaking through the mansion and, you're literally trying to find where Jeff is in the mansion?
I think it's a mix of that style, but then with some more action-based stuff as well.
Yeah. Kind of like a cross between, your Resident Evil. I'm thinking more Resident Evil 7 or so, where or even like a Resident Evil 4, where you get like
maybe, the behind the third person, I think.
Yeah, but it doesn't have those tank controls, so you get that third person. You're sort of sneaking through. There's a couple of.
I'm almost getting vibes of like Control as well, of like exploring this weird space and. Maybe not as combat heavy as that. Maybe
I'm imagining all the reality warping sort of stuff that's actually happening, and it's actually been contained within Wiggle Mansion because of all the ancient spells that are like engraved around the outside.
Absolutely, like the reason they even live in this spot is because for thousands of years, there's all been these rituals to keep this thing at bay.
Oh, when you break down into the basement. There's all the original cave paintings and all that sort of stuff from the first people, and like they're not. They haven't enough.
Some of them depicting a big red car.
Yes,
it's part of it.
Okay, now the biggest question of all: how do we bring combos into this?
I mean, the big red car. There you go. When they track that down, you've got a whole sequence of comboing the big red car.
Keep flipping the big red car.
Yeah, you have to keep flipping. They've got the big red skateboard.
Beep, beep, chugga, chugga, kick flip it.
Oh boy. I could explore that forever.
Yeah.
I think, well, just to obviously wrap it up, you go through this stealth action game, you experience the incredibly tragic death of the current, previous Yellow Wiggle. Who was that? Greg, did you say? Greg? Yeah. Greg dies, in tragic circumstances. Emma takes on the mantle of the Yellow Wiggle and puts her bow, hair, and with a great, heavy heart moves forward and takes that on. And then, you get to the grand finale where they take down, they take this down and you think they're done. You think they've captured this demon again, and the other Wiggles are like, no, like, Jeff's dead. Jeff was consumed, but we still need someone.
Oh, God.
We still need someone to wear the purple skivvy and keep this thing at bay. And Lockie just steps up.
And you sort of see him standing there and he's looking out, and then you see like a flash of feathers in his eyes or something like that. Like,
yeah.
Basically, this new
perfect.
Solkanen.
I just went to his Wikipedia page. He started as Captain Feathersword on tour.
Okay, just to be 100% sure, we know that the Wiggles are a good, wholesome, like, kids band, and there hasn't been a whole heap of murders and that sort of stuff. We are legally obliged to say that this did not happen. It did.
Yeah, we were there. This is why Emma and Lockie split up. She couldn't put up with his
evil ways.
Yeah.
Oh, God, that's so horrible. Okay, my last words are rulebook, searchable, density.
You are my density.
It wasn't destiny.
No, when he said it wrong, he said density. Okay, density, rulebook, and what?
Searchable.
I'm sort of picturing some sort of puzzly sort of game that just has a ton of rules. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yep.
Where the whole puzzle is sort of figuring out which rules apply at any certain point. It's almost like deciphering legalese, but in a fun way.
Yeah, it's kind of like keep talking, no one explodes, except it's a single player game that you're going, okay, this thing is happening here. Oh, I remember something about, when the button is blue that something must happen, and you have a look and it tells you which dialogue options you need to choose in the order to keep the combo going.
For fuck's sake.
Can't hear it.
Good. You'll hear it when you edit. You'll have to turn the volume all the way up. No, okay. I like this idea less around the sort of button pushing that Keep Talking Nobody Explodes is around. But yes, exploring. You know what it feels like? It feels like a Zachtronics game. Where you create these systems, you put these very complex kind of systems in place that aren't necessarily tied in directly to anything real world, although, probably inspired by, but, and then yes, it's sort of deciphering those in some way by searching through these rule books, looking things up, typing in the correct keywords to find the page. Essentially, it's what I do in my day job, looking up documentation for programming, but in a game.
Yeah. Okay. So what I'm imagining is the MacGuffin, as it were, that you're looking for is like the densest substance on the planet. Basically, there was a meteor that sort of struck Earth and it created a massive hole in the ground, and it was the tiniest thing.
Okay.
It's kind of like, if you remember Futurama, Nibbler's poop.
I do.
Which is extremely heavy and
dense, yes.
Dense. So, I like the idea of having that as the MacGuffin that you're sort of looking for. And when you get close to it, it's got sort of like reality warping things in which, it seems to be able to change like the rules of the universe.
Oh, okay. And that's where the rules come in.
Yeah. Now you happen to have like the book that you've got happens to, update
always
with the latest versions.
Yeah.
Always reflect what the current version of the rules are. And those rules could be something along the lines of simply gravity or whether, walls actually have density or they don't anymore and you can just walk through them.
Interesting.
I kind of like the idea of being able to sort of you walk into a room and you check the rule book and it's like, any wood covered floor, now has, no density and you can fall right through it because gravity is like X strong.
I do like this as kind of a puzzle game then. Of like any area you're in, the usual solutions. You need to unlock a door. You need to get into it, or you need to unlock a this room, fish are keys.
A
suitcase. Well, exactly. And so it's essentially the normal things that you do in a game like this don't make any sense because you have to check the rules and see what's changed, what's altered.
Yep.
It could be something as simple. Everyone then.
It could be something as simple as your fire button is now a jump button and your jump button is now a fire button, sort of thing.
Oh, you even go that meta. I was sort of picturing it more internally consistent and keeping it within universe, but because I'm almost picturing this now as a bit of a point-and-click adventure game, but of course it's almost a meta thing. It's almost a commentary on like the weird point-and-click adventure game puzzles.
Yep.
But now there's a reason for them. Now there's a reason for you to unlock a door with a fish. Like, because it literally just says it in the rules that fish can unlock doors.
Yeah.
For this room. But I feel like at the same time you're exploring this world where all this weird shit is happening and finding out from these other people like what they're feeling about it too, because they're experiencing it as well. You're the only one with the rule book.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone else, like, reality is just twisting and bending around them.
Okay, so when this dense material crashed to Earth, did it sort of break through, like, the reality barrier, and you actually kind of got, like, the game manual from outside, but it's now digitally...
Yes. You have a manual for the game that you are inside.
Yes. Going wholly meta, but it's like when these reality things sort of shake, the size of the manual may change, or, the color of the manual may change slightly, so there's been a rule change from that last room, sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I'm not quite sure how it reconciles... Like, there's almost two different things happening here.
Yeah.
That, like, the dense object is twisting reality, but at the same time has brought this game manual in here, which also twists with the reality. But that's fine.
Doesn't have to make sense. The game's never going to exist.
It's a reality twisting, dense nibbler shit. Like, yeah, it doesn't have to make sense. But no, I do like exploring... I do like that idea of going sort of through a point-and-click adventure where, yes, those rules change. You go into another room. I think maybe your inventory stays the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like, once you pick something up, it won't shift. But obviously the rules around what that thing can do might shift.
Yeah.
And so I think it is really this searching thing where it's like, okay, I'm going to go into a new room. There's a puzzle here. I have to, get past this guard and he wants... I don't know, a cup of tea. And I'm holding, a set of keys and whatever. But if you bring up the book and, like, search the book, or you go to the index, right, and you search for keys, and then you go to the keys thing and, like, the page for keys, and, yeah, it says, like, keys can make tea or whatever. Like, but that's what I mean. Like, you'll find clues to what you can do in a particular room by searching.
Keys are a lovely beverage that usually gets you place the key in hot water, and out comes a lovely lovely beverage.
And you wouldn't have known that unless you looked it up because you happen to have a pair of keys. And it's not like you go to a different room then and look. Like, if you hadn't picked up the keys yet, you're not going to look at that puzzle and say, "Oh, I need to go and get the keys that I saw."
And of course, that only works in the kitchen. When you go to the living room,
like, it's literally every different room.
When you go to the living room, keys cut, like a knife.
Yeah, well, if that's it. You could have multiple uses for them, and then that brings in a whole other layer of puzzles where, well, I need to use the keys both here and here, and maybe there's a way that you can, like, shift what a rule means or something as a mechanic as well.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's fun.
It is
pretty mind-bending, and I'd hate to have to actually try to write it. But we'll leave that up to the eventual, in the alternate dimension where this game was made. they can fucking deal with it.
We just gave them the manual. They can steal it from this podcast.
Well, if that's how the game ends, is you make the game within that reality based on the manual. Yeah.
It becomes circular.
Definitely.
Ouroboros.
And then that manual falls through a hole in reality into the start of the game. All right. My brain's blowing up, so I think we'll end it there. If you want to find us online, listen to all of our previous episodes. They're not all quite as weird as this, but some of them are, if you enjoyed it, so go look for those. Go to podchaser.com/bitstorm. All of our previous episodes are there. You can also check out our credits, one of which was up recently. Go and listen to us on Comedy Rewind, talking about Clerks 2.
Yes. And also, we would love to thank Kuridas for the use of the song Mount Defiance off of the album Containment Failure.
That's right. So thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott.
Wake up, Trevor!
Oh, I can't believe that I took over from Lockie.
Trevor, you're the new Purple Wiggle. Such a burden to bear.